Hello, hey everyone. Thanks for joining our live stream today. Pretty excited. Today I have with me Esther. Hi Esther, do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone. It's good to be here.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay.
So we have one more person joining the stream, Andre. So let's bring Andre onto the stream. Hey Andre.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Okay, so let's pass the ball to Esther.
Alrighty. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the first Chakra UI Office Hours for 2023. Yay! I'm so excited to be here, and I can't remember the last time we had an office hours, really. It's been a while, but hopefully after today, we'll try to make it much more regular and probably have monthly office hours. So the goal for office hours is really to interact and connect with the community, to answer questions that you may have, and even talk about what's going on, what's latest in the Chakraverse, and maybe demo one or two projects. So I'll start with introductions. My name is Esther. I think Sage had already mentioned earlier. My name is Esther, and I work on all things devil in Chakra UI. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. But before I pass the ball, I think I'll like when we introduce ourselves, just talk about or give a word describing how your year has been so far. For me, I think the year has been full of growth. I've been learning a whole lot and doing so many things. So I will describe the year so far as growth. Yeah, so I'll pass the ball to Andre.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, my name is Andre, like Esther mentioned. I'm a collaborator at Chakra UI for, I guess, a year now. I think it was my anniversary some time ago. And I started off as a DevRel. I created videos on the Chakra UI channel, but lately I fell in love with writing documentation on the Chakra UI website. And I'm glad to finally have the office hours back. I miss them, and it's finally nice to talk to people and meet the community. I guess in a way, kind of face to face, and not just in a pull request. So yeah, that's always good. And about my year, I guess the only word I would describe it is crazy. I didn't think a lot of things will happen. I met the guys from Chakra UI, so that I think that was one of the highlights of my year. So yeah, I think Sage could go next.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, my name is Shagun Adebayo. I say my stage name is called Sage, and I'm the lead maintainer of Chakra UI, Zach.js, and hopefully many more libraries in the future. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to be here today. My keyword, let's see, my keyword has been speed, like crazy speed, mostly. That's because I've had lots of interesting ideas brewing through my mind for the past couple of days, and most of them are ideas to grow the Chakra UI library, the Chakra UI community, and I think even a little bit more than that. I'm really excited to share some of them. Maybe not in this stream, but we'll see.
All right, cool, nice. Hi, Aaron. We have a couple of people joining us today. Hi, Aaron, Brian, Ivika. I hope that's the way you pronounce your name. Patrick, thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions, hi, Abdul Aziz. Welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll walk through them during this office hours. So yeah, the first thing we would like to do today is to talk about the latest projects in Chakra UI or the latest releases that we've made in Chakra UI. So the first one is the Figma UI kit. I'll probably just share my screen now and walk us through some of the things that we've been onto. Okay, let me know when you can see my screen, please.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, nice. So I think towards the end of last year, we launched a Figma UI kit, which is Chakra UI Figma kit to the Figma community. And the goal of this was to ensure that there's a smooth collaboration between designers and developers. So in Figma UI kit, designers have access to all the Chakra UI components, and we've structured them in a way that the API is very similar or is the same as it is in code. So if you have a designer or in your team, designer does not need to literally design all Chakra UI components. They can just grab the Figma UI kit and just begin to put elements together in Figma, and then the design is ready, and they can easily then hand that off over to the developer. So if you want to easily get access to the Figma UI kit, you can either get access here, or once you get to the Chakra UI site, go to Figma from the side panel and then just get the Figma UI kits. That's an easy way to get the Chakra UI Figma kit. So that's that, and I'm very excited. A lot of people have gotten there. You can see the stats, and I think it will be very helpful to the design community and even speed up development throughout production teams. So the next one that I'm happy to show off is the Chakra UI Fig Pilot. So Fig Pilot launched, I think, a week or two ago, right? So the site is figma.chakraui.com. So Fig Pilot is really a Figma plugin that the Chakra UI team built to ensure that when designs are done in Figma, the developer can instantly get access to the Chakra UI code, production-ready Chakra UI code. So this is Fig Pilot, and it's a paid Figma plugin, but I think it's really worth everything. And I'll be doing a very simple demo of Figma Pilot right now. So it's going to be really quick. Let me see if I remember how to design. Okay, so I'll be showing you how exactly you can use the superpower of Fig Pilot in your work process. So I'm right inside Figma now, and I'm just going to create maybe a login screen, right? So I select a frame, and then I'm just going to select the MacBook Pro. So now in this Figma project, or in this Figma project, I've already installed the Figma UI kit, that's Chakra UI Figma kit. So you'll notice that because I've installed it, we have access to all of these colors that are by default available in Chakra UI. So I'm going to select, I want to design a login screen now with Fig Pilot, and I'm going to select the gray color. So let me see how fast I can quickly design this. I'll select the text and just put login to your account. Okay, so this is supposed to be the headline of the login screen. Yeah, so I'll make this extra bold. I'll increase the font size to about maybe 48 pixels and center it. So I'm just going to duplicate this and create a simple sub-headline that says maybe sign up with your details below. So obviously I'll be reducing the font weight to regular and even the font size to about 21 pixels. Okay, let me just select that again. Make the font size 21 pixels and make the font weight regular. Cool. So right now I can just begin to use the superpowers of the Figma UI kit. So I'm going to go into assets on the left panel here. I'm just going to wait for it to load. So here I can notice that I have access to like all the or most of the Chakra UI components because I've already installed the Chakra UI Figma kit. So now I want to draw a rectangle that will contain the input fields for my login screen. So let me just make this white Then make the background color white. Give it a border radius of about 12 pixels round. And then I drag in an input field. Let's say the user needs to log in with an email input field. So I just look for an input field here, and I drag in an input field. And we notice that because this is a component, we can begin to play around with the properties of this component. So I can decide to make this a large input field, right? And just expand the width of this. So I can change this by modifying the placeholder to be email, right? And then I can just duplicate this and make this a password. And then, yep. And then I put a button. Sorry, let me just press Ctrl Z. I put a button below. I think I need to zoom in. Yeah, I put a button below the input fields. So I grab the button and place it below. And obviously, I can then decide to turn off the left and right icon if I don't need any of the icons, and just make this sign in. Change the text to sign in. Yep. So I expand the width. Okay. So right now I have my design, but to really utilize the superpowers of Chakra UI Fig Pilot, I realized that there are things that we need to bear in mind, such as auto layout. So when you want to use Fig Pilot, you need to bear in mind that you need to use the auto layout feature of Figma. This is because it helps the elements to have a bit of constraints between them. If there is no auto layout between elements, you realize that they're just, like I say, absolutely positioned and there's no constraint. So you need to use auto layout to really get the powers of Fig Pilot. So I'm going to put an auto layout between my heading and my text, and I'm just going to go to auto layout. So right now they are properly laid out. And then between my input fields, I'm going to have an auto layout between the email field and the password field as well. And I'm going to have an auto layout between the input fields and the button. Yeah. And then I can go ahead to reduce the height of this white and give it an effect. Yeah, a subtle effect for shadow. And then I put an auto layout between the input fields and button as well as the background. Yeah, so that is an auto layout. And finally, I put an auto layout between this, the text, and this below. Yeah, so this is what we have here. And then I can decide to, preview. So right now I'm done with my design in Figma, and then I can decide to use my Fig Pilot. This is literally the step every designer will go through when you're designing any screen at all. So I launch my Fig Pilot plugin here. Yeah. And then I select the frame, which is this. So let it just load up. Okay, I select the frame. And now I have the code for my login screen ready. And then I can decide to click either the copy, if you want to copy this code directly to your editor like VS Code, or you can decide to preview. And when you preview, it opens in Code Sandbox, and then we can obviously click the large preview to see what we have so far. So yeah, this is what we have so far. And then we can definitely go into our code to optimize. But when you inspect the code, you realize that most of the elements or most of the components are correct. For example, in terms of button, you have your button. In terms of input, you can then go further to specify the type of input that is a password input and all of that. So this is really the power of FigPilot. I hope I didn't bore you guys out and I was able to explain it in this short time. Yeah, so let me know if you have questions. I think there are a couple of questions here. Someone says, loving the Figma kit. Everyone says, loving the Figma kit. Nice moves. Yeah, thank you. Excited about all the Figma updates. Got to jump on a call about, but any updates on V3 and yeah, you get updates on the roadmap later today. We'll have that in pipeline. Then, yeah, what interests me about FigPilot is how well does it handle responsive values? I think it handles it at the moment. The FigPilot is targeted towards desktop designs, but you can obviously like just having your desktop developed for you is a whole lot of, saves you a whole lot of stress. So you can obviously go into the code and like here and then create your responsive values for elements. I think it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, I think I've been able to walk through FigPilot and just let you understand how easy it is to use FigPilot. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it and then we'll answer it. So I think I will just hand over to Andre. Yeah, there's an exciting project with Chakra UI and Formic that he'll demo in. So yeah, Andre, take it off.
Yeah, I'd like to share something cool made by the community. I think we should. I think this was the perfect place that we should showcase this project. To give you an intro, it's a package, npm package, which is beneficial to the ones that are using Chakra UI with Formic. And the main motivation behind this package, it is to minimize the repetition that happens when working with forms and the usage of form control. So your code could be cleaner and you can still have that Chakra UI stylings. So I think it's best for me if I share my screen and show you guys like an example how could this look. Just I'm not sure how can I share. Oh, there we go. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen.
Okay, so I have a code sandbox here, which has basic two forms, one before using this package and the one after using this package. By the way, I didn't mention this. The package name is called Chakra Fields for those who want to get into it and try it out. And I'll open the before Chakra Fields example. And as you can see, even though it's not that a lot of code, but if you get into complex forms, it could get a little bit clunky. And to have a little bit more readability, we can go into the after Chakra Fields and see the difference.
Could you zoom in a little bit?
The what?
Could you zoom? Could you like increase the font size a little bit?
Yeah. There we go.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, so we have some form to validate the age and another text field to input the name of the user. And like I said, this is how it is with using this package. And as you can see, you can pass in a validate function, which if we see here on the left, it says must be above 18. So if we enter something less than 18, it will throw an error for us. And this is basically the same code, but a little bit longer. This is the native example. So if you guys are interested and are using Formic extensively, this could clean up a lot of your code. And this is like a plug and play package that could help in your Formic adventures with Chakra UI. And yeah, this is the npm page for anyone interested. So if you guys are interested, be sure to download it and try it out, or even open a pull request to fix some issue you guys find. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thanks, Andre. Okay, I think he's just left. Yeah, that was an amazing project. I'll try to get the link so that I can share it. But yeah, over to you, Sage. Talk about roadmap and any other exciting thing in Chakra UI.
Okay, yeah, that's an awesome demo for Fig Pilot and for Chakra Fields. I mean, it was so nice to see. Yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about is the V3 roadmap for Chakra UI, what that looks like. At the moment, I've got like a pretty clear picture of what V3 and V4 of Chakra UI is going to look like. That's why I said earlier that speed and crazy speed is kind of like the keyword for me. I've got those ideas in mind. So regarding V3 of Chakra UI, I mean, looking through the comments that most people have posted on my issue, by the way, I'll post a link to the issue here. So I create a banner here, so like show you, I mean, post a link to the issue. So this is going to send you, that's a link to go to see the roadmap for V3. The core focus for V3 is going to be centered around improving the theming, the style system, and then the lifelong issue with Chakra UI and CSS and JS in general. Next.js, which is kind of like improving the support for server components. So the general idea there would be to figure out how we can. We've currently been doing some research around like solving the issues with like emotion and server components within Next.js. Next.js 13, the app directory to be specific, because generally speaking, Next.js 13 on the pages directory with Chakra UI works pretty good. Issues start to arise when you get into the app directory, which uses React server components by default. Right. So right now, I think there's a little bit of a workaround when you use the use client directive, but it's almost clear that there's a lot of like disadvantages that comes with using only client-side components with that use client directive. So trying to figure out how we could, I mean, statically generate all of the styles that have been injected or that have been used in your application within the app directory. It's a bit of a high technical complexity there to figure out, but I think we're making some progress there, and would love to push the emotion community a bit more forward as well, because this is most likely like a huge emotion, generally speaking, an issue that most libraries that build on top of emotions have. Especially with Chakra UI and our unique style prop based approach, we've got some things to figure out and a few bugs to fix as far as like getting that to work. But that is, I would say that is our plan A, our plan of attack to fix the CSS and JS and React Server components issue. The other approach that we've got in mind is a bit more of like should I call it a radical shift, which is more like to think about like how we could possibly do static extraction of styles and components and properties. So literally the idea is, can we keep the same developer experience that we have currently in Chakra UI, but can we actually statically extract all of the styles that have been used to a static CSS file? Right. So we've been on this for quite a lot, almost a year, I believe. And we've got an exciting solution, but then we're currently doing rigorous testing, finding bugs, and actually like tracking down the ideas. In a few months, most likely a month or two from now, we're going to open it up for sort of like feedback. I mean, from the community, so everyone can sort of prepare their minds for this new radical shift, even though it's not going to land just like in V3. Just be able to test it out, get a few for that, fix bugs, and get it to be more stable and robust. That is when we get to make the switch from an emotion-based library to actually like a full static mode. And obviously, as you know, dynamic and static are two different worlds, right? So when you get to the world of static, some rules have to apply. Compared to if you're in like dynamic with style prop, you can put some random masters random and change the style of any component. But when you go static, Just a few rules, probably I think one or two that may apply in that phase. But again, that's our should I say like our backup approach. In event that the efforts and emotions tend to be pretty challenging or complex, but I feel like we can definitely arrive at a pretty good solution for Next.js. All right, and I think that the second key focus there is I'll call it like Next.js or framework specific packages, all right, such as Next.js. Working with images, in Next.js is awesome, but you can definitely face some issues here and there. So kind of like styling links, styling images with the components we already have within Chakra UI. We are looking to actually tighten up that integration with Next.js so people get the best experience. Yeah, so those are kind of like those are the high level things. I'm excited about all of them, but I think that one thing I'm pretty like even more excited about is improving the tokens architecture within Chakra UI. As right now we've got a bunch of components. Most of our components use the theme object. I would say that generally speaking, in the token architecture, there's the global tokens, sort of like grade 200, grade 500, grade whatever. And then there's like the semantic tokens. With semantic tokens, we don't offer too much right now. We only offer you the global tokens. So what we want to do going forward in V3 is to provide as many semantic tokens as possible, such that if you do like primary success or success subtle or success bold as your color, you don't have to like rack your head around like, do I make it green 300 and green 600 when it's dark mode? You just have to like, you just use the token and it works automatically. And what this does is that it sort of opens up the door for multi-brand design system where you can actually tweak all of your semantic tokens and everything just works as expected. All right, so we're looking to do that because it's going to help even our own components be more robust and actually like adjust for even more interesting use cases because we've got companies building on top of Chakra UI today. And we want to actually architect interesting solutions that help both companies and projects alike to get even more from Chakra UI.
Alrighty, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to expect from Chakra UI. I'm really excited about the static solution. Can't wait for it to launch in 1 to 2 months' time. Yeah, so I guess that is it from us. If you have questions, let's know. Let me see. Yeah, I think I answered this question about the responsive values. Someone says, what interests me about Figpilot is how well does it handle responsive values? Kindly respond to this question. So in terms of Figpilot at the moment, Figpilot gives you the code for your desktop version. So I think Chakra UI syntax is pretty easy to convert to responsive values. So you can, once you have the code, you can go into your code and just convert elements to responsive values. Yeah, so that's basically how it works for Figpilot right now. Then Abdulaziz says, what's up with Chakra UI View? Sage, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, for sure. Chakra UI View is an interesting story. I don't have all the time to tell you the story. It's a sweet one. Yeah, Chakra UI View is currently like trying to get to like a stable state. That's how I see it. And I think a lot of the challenge there has been a lack of manpower to actually do that work. And I mean, it's been an interesting challenge because we folks that work on the React team have very little to almost zero Vue knowledge, and it's a little bit of a challenge for us to go there and start to make things happen. And this is why we actually thought about creating a framework agnostic set of UI components, and that's why we launched Zag.js. So if you don't know about Zag.js, Zag.js is a framework agnostic set of UI components like dialog, popover, nested menus, context menus, and so on. Those type of components, we model them using state machines, and we make them available to React, Vue, and Solid.js. So our next plan of attack is actually to somewhat replace the current efforts with the Chakra UI view with state machines, so that we no longer have to maintain multiple implementations of the same component. So we've got Zach.js view currently that is launched, that is pretty stable. It's going to get to V1 very soon. And then we're just going to use that within Chakra UI view. And that would be our approach to get things working. Because I think, as far as I've seen, it's a bit of an interesting challenge, because just you use popover code in React, and then someone tries to port it over to use popover in Vue. And then when there are bugs in use popover in React, you have to check the issues, check the pull requests, check everything, and then try to port it back again. I think that's much of a rat race. And I think it would burn out pretty soon if we continue on that path. So that's why we're kind of like reevaluating our approach there by using state machines. So we keep and only maintain one implementation for all components, and we basically just like hook them into the respective framework. So that's like the long answer. The short answer is basically Chakra UI view is still maintained. It's gonna be improved, and it's gonna catch up, I think, with Chakra UI in either V3 or V4, one of those.
All right, thank you for that robust answer. Okay, so we have Ivika asking about the V3 roadmap. It says the plan is to remove framer motion. Sage, could you touch upon this problem and explain what it means? Did you get that?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Okay.
So the general plan there is mostly framer motion has given us quite a bit of a headache sometimes. So far maintaining Chakra UI. I think the most obvious one is the fact that the bundle size is pretty big, pretty robust, and I think by default, one of the core principles of Chakra UI is composition, which is sort of like you compose things as you need them or when you need them. And framer motion was one of those decisions where, like, when I look back, I would say like it would have been great to design Chakra UI in such a way that it's not tied to a specific animation library. It's because the animation library is only an implementation detail. How it fades in and fades out is, again, it's just an implementation detail. The key thing we care about as a component library is when the animation starts, when the animation ends, we want to do something specific. Those are kind of like the key hooks that we care about from a library perspective. So the key idea there is getting rid of framer motion and actually handling and sort of creating hooks for our users, so they can actually like tell us when the animation is done or when the animation starts, and then we can do the things we need to do from a library perspective, as managing focus, managing keyboard, returning focus, all of the key things that we need to do there within the library. That's sort of the main idea behind it. But to make it sort of like work for everyone, we tend to extract all of the default component, animation config, to a separate package. So when we make that separation, you can always put them back together the way you want, and you never have to suffer from like, oh, now there's no framer motion anymore. By default, we're going to expose components that allow you put them back together again. But then the key thing is you want to be able to switch framer motion with something else, with native CSS animations, or with React transition groups, or with React Spring. Literally, we don't want to have too much opinion on the way you manage motion. Of course, we have a lot of opinions already, but let's not add motion to that. At least we've got style props and emotion. We don't want to add framer motion to that list. Currently we do, but I think we can do a bit better there.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I guess we do not have any more questions again. So with that, I think it's fine. So do you have any last minute thoughts, Andre, Sage?
Nope, nothing from me.
Okay, Sage?
Yeah, for me, I'm excited that we've got this stream going, and I really love the questions that are coming in. So I'll be looking forward to the next one. I'd love to answer more questions, make the roadmap of Chakra UI clear. It's obvious we need more components, and that's already on our roadmap. We've got like more components coming as well into Chakra UI. So if you take a look at Zach.js, you see, I think that's like a little peek of like the components that are coming into Chakra UI. So you can go there and browse through them. Everything is going to land in Chakra UI, most likely in V3 as well. So be on the lookout.
Okay, nice. So yeah, we have a roadmap for components on Kani. I just shared the link now, so you can go over to Kani. That's chakraui.kani.io to upvote any of the components that you would like to see created very soon in Chakra UI. Obviously, like Sid mentioned, we are trying to use state machines as Zag.js for logic-based components. So as you can guess, the date picker component is like the one taking the lead now. So, and it's in progress. So we can't wait to ship it and have it into your hands. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this office hours. It's been an amazing 40 minutes with you, and thanks for taking time out to come chat with us and ask your questions. We're hoping this will be more regular, so I think it's safe to say see you next month. Yeah, someone says, do you expect the picker to come first to Zag or Chakra UI? I think definitely to Zag first, right?
Totally. Yeah, we have to model them
Yeah.
within Zag, because Zag is sort of like the control room for like all our components. So it gets into Zag first and then it lands in Chakra.
Chakra UI, exactly. Yeah. So you'll be seeing components in Zag and then Chakra UI. Yeah, thank you everyone and have a nice rest of your day. Bye.
Bye bye.